Well, good morning, welcome, and welcome to everyone that's online today. This morning is from the Master said, this is now titled Saint of Ananda. And this book had a very profound impact on me. I have a similar karma with Roma, and perhaps many of you too, where she had and has a very good friend who introduced her to Ananda, which is to say, through Swami and the spiritual family there in Northern California, Palo Alto, actually, Southern California. And that was it for her, changed her life. And so it was the same for me. A good friend of mine, I don't know why he thought I would be interested in this book. I had spiritual friends, but still, I'll have to ask him someday. It's a mystery. He gave me this book. That was it. Saw the photo of Yogananda there and read the saying, which I'm going to read to you now. And I knew, even though I was in high school and I had thoughts of being in Los Angeles to maybe be a rock star or something like that, that was it. All of those dreams, which of course were superficial, but still, just a kid, were real to me, they vanished in an instant when this book came into my life. Sir, what should I do to find God? A student asked. The Master said, during every little period of leisure, plunge your mind into the infinite of Him. Talk to Him intimately. He's the nearest of the near, the dearest of the dear. Love Him as a miser loves money, as an ardent man loves a sweetheart, as a drowning person loves breath. When you yearn for God with intensity, He will come to you. Roma and I lived in Gurgaon, Delhi, for 5 years. And then we were transferred to Southern California and ran a little center down there until we came back to Bangalore in 2012. And so at that time, Nai Swami Jyotish and Devi were coming to our little center in Troy, California, and giving classes and so on. And one particular time, I never saw him do this before or since, he decided, he has a scientific mind, to conduct a little experiment there at the class. I think the class series was on the Bhagavad Gita. And so he asked someone, please bring the various things that he needed for this particular experiment. A table was set up, and there was a picture there, and so all of us were intrigued. What is this? And so he got a bottle of what looked like a big bottle of Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola or something like that, and poured it into the container, which was a container that one could see through, glass container. And he said, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour water now into this container and watch what happens. And of course, there was a large container that was going to be there for all the overflow. And he said, watch. As the liquid, the Coca-Cola, whatever it was, liquid, begins now to change into color. And he kept on pouring and pouring and pouring the water into the brown liquid until it was completely clear. It was just water. And he said, that's what we're doing. And I've never forgot that, because that's exactly what we're doing. We have the good karma now to know that the inner life is where the treasure, the portable paradise, as Yogananda talked about, that's where it dwells. And so all we have to do, again, it's nothing to attain. It's just like Swami Satchidananda one time was asked, are you a Hindu? He said, no, I'm an undu. And I've always kept that in mind. That's what we're doing. We are all, as children of God, we're again, in a state of perfection. The veil of Maya, the karma, all of that obscures that to whatever degree. But bit by bit, primarily through meditation, the most refined and exalted of all activities, through seva, through satsang, through the many, many means that we have, through friends, books, and so on. We're doing this experiment in this life. And this life goes by very quickly. Yogananda said, in the halls of retrospection, this life could be shown in 2 hours. Time and space is an illusion. And so we want to use our time wisely. And so with this experiment, right before our eyes, and Jyotish's eyes were twinkling because he knew, I'm sure, that it was going to be something that we remember. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And indeed it has for me. That's what we're doing. That's why a disciplined mind's a happy mind. Most people have no idea the impact that the mind has on our activities and the feelings of the heart, our environment, and so on. Thoughts are things. They're powerful, very powerful. And so, bit by bit, we begin, we use this image, of continuing to pour positive vibrations into our being, into our heart especially, through meditation, through all these various means. That's why Yogananda said, if you do 10% of what I asked you to do, you'll get there. And he also said something which was very, I feel, heartening. He said, you know, in the Gita, there's this, and I think some people get discouraged by this, out of 1,000, one seeks me. Out of 1,000 that seek me, one finds me. What did Yogananda say? Our percentages are better. Thank you. Because I was about ready just to go, to some island or something and just figure, who, with those kinds of odds, who needs to put out the effort? And of course, that wasn't my thought. But for us, it's a matter of appreciating the incredible blessing. It's why Yogananda said, and he wouldn't have said this if he didn't know that we have all the ingredients needed to finally break out of this cosmic hypnosis, as Yogananda called it. Because when you look and you think of all the activities of this incarnation alone, not to mention the many, many incarnations we've had, to finally get to this point, we can really take heart in what Yogananda said. It takes very, very, very good karma even to want to know God. Not to mention those that have finally the good karma and the interest, the sustained interest, which is absolutely vital to continue to take away. I love the image which I've shared with you of a student coming up to a master sculptor, seeing him doing this incredible job. He was making an elephant. He said, "How do you do this?" He says, "The sculptor says it's very easy. I just chip away everything that's not the elephant." That's it for us. We're in a state of purity right now because we're the soul. We're not this body of personality, any of these things. Swami Kriyananda, toward the end of his life, as he spent more and more time in God, he said, and he was always very private with his own spiritual attainments, he said, now, this was toward, the last few years of his life, he said, now, I can hardly differentiate between my thoughts and Yogananda's thoughts. That's how attuned he was with his guru. And who is the guru? God is the guru, but he works through channels. And so, more and more, all he wanted to share with us was his bliss. That was it. It had finally boiled down to that. And he had bliss in the early years too. When I met him, when he was a man in his 40s, I remember a time, and it's branded into my consciousness. He was just starting Ananda, tremendous challenge in starting the first World Brotherhood colony, which was Yogananda's dream. And there, in the seclusion retreat, our original property, he was leaning against the banister of the dining room, and he couldn't speak. And I was in the room. I didn't quite know what to think of this, but there was something that was coming out of him, this vibration, though really new to me. I could identify it as joy. I could feel it as joy. And this was just a man in his 40s. And as the decades progressed along, he was very, very focused. He said, I do not let anything get in the way of my peace of mind. And he said, sometimes I feel like I'm a tycoon. He was so busy for God, in creating all of these communities and all of the various things that he did. Such an incredibly productive life, but his focus was God. And all he cared about was to find God and to share God. That was it. It was boiled down to that, which is really the essence, and ideally the purpose of everyone's life once that's discovered. So toward the end of his life too, he said, these are two things that I'd like to share with you in order to always, these great ones are always doing all they can to give us shortcuts. And he said, two things to keep in mind. One, depth of meditation. Duration is important too. Depth of meditation, go deep. And also feel that God is the doer. Simple. When the cream rises to the surface and you think, this or something like that, there's so many various things that inspire us, we hold on to that. And we don't lose the grip of the feet of God, the feet of Guru, the feet of Divine Mother. Depth of meditation, why? Because we have to convince ourselves again and again and again and again, smriti, memory, of who we are and where we're going. Most people don't know who they are or where they're going. This is their life. Round and round in circles, and they're suffering needlessly. That's why, now that we've been given the grace to go inside, this is no small thing, to go inside, discovering who we are, we have the responsibilities primarily through vibration, through prayer, and any other means to uplift people. And we see people, even in precious Mother India, the guru of the world, we see people, you can see from their body language, they're being weighed down by their karma. And it's not them, but there's a habit that many people share. Maybe they have a negative thought, so they think they're negative. Ridiculous. They worry about something, so they think that they are, just, a bundle of worries. That's them. They compound their problem. When these issues come our way, and of course they do inwardly and outwardly, karma, begins to make itself known in so many ways. Okay, fine, identify it, and then give it to God. And Swami said, along with depth of meditation, and feeling that God is the doer and doing everything, also keep in mind self-offering. The negative things, the positive things, our aspirations, the past, the present, the future. I'll share something with you that is precious. Not that long ago, maybe a month ago, I was being irritated by someone, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but I'm sure you have. And no, it wasn't, actually. I don't get irritated angels. So, this person was irritating me. And sometimes, we can fall into a habit where we're irritated more than a minute. Maybe we're irritated for an hour. Maybe we're irritated for a day, maybe longer. What a disaster. Children of God, what is this? The instrument's blessed by that which flows through it, and the instrument also drops a few octaves when we're just being instruments for, negativity. And so there was this experience, and all of a sudden, there was this voice, and I don't know, but I felt it was Divine Mother. And she said, "Why are you being so hard on me?" And I was absolutely shocked. Because again, it drove home the truth. God is the doer. And when we wake up from this dream, incredible as it seems, we will realize, this is the experience of every saint, that God is doing everything. And that's not an easy thing to grasp. Positive things fine. But, we're instruments for chaos and all of this. God was doing that too? Yes. Because God is doing everything. And that's why, again, Yogananda liked to take his disciples to the movies. And when they were totally engrossed, as a very good movie is meant to do, just totally immerse yourself, escape to the movies. You tap them on the shoulder and have them look back at the beam. And you see, that's what's happening. It's just a beam of light. It's light and shadows of the Lord. This is a dream. And he shared image of movies many, many times. He said, "I like to share this image because it's so simple and yet so profound." And so we need to go deep in meditation, not just skating on the surface, and for that we have to ask for help. We're not bothering God and gurus when we say, "Excuse me, but I know that you've got a lot of responsibility running all of creation, but if you could give me a moment of your time, look at this mind. I'm trying to meditate, and all I'm thinking about is, all of this stuff. Please, I need your help." I think you'll find, if you haven't found already, that God is there. The snap of the finger to help us and to lift our consciousness and to get us back into alignment. And so our job is to remember again and again and again, and to remind others through our vibration, we needn't say a word. The purpose of life is to find God, and the purpose of life is to share God. And that's it. The easy vehicle, perhaps it's not easy in the beginning, but we become more and more accustomed to deep meditation, and we don't want to have anything but that. We ask God and Guru for that help. We will make every meditation deeper to last. And so we go deep into meditation and rediscover our soul. And what's there to be discovered and rediscovered? Joy. And joy is God, and God is joy. And love and wisdom and light and compassion and all of the qualities that we all seek in common. Every single person on this earth, all 6 billion of us, that's all that we care about is bliss. That's what we want. And so you go inside, you make a regular habit of it. Morning to set the tone for the day, and night to give the day back. And even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's just a few minutes. Yogananda, Swami Kriyananda was always bargaining with people. Always. And we do the same. Just meditate for a minute. Just meditate a few minutes. And we find that time passes. And how many times have we heard this? People say, "Well, I really am not a very good meditator, and I'm only meditating a few minutes." And they'll go to the all-day meditation, which is an annual event here. You're all welcome. An 8-hour meditation. Oh my God, what is that? But we don't lock the doors. People can come and go if they want, as long as they're quietly coming and going. But many people, over the years, have come up to us that, maybe my sadhana, which I've been working on for months, an hour a day. I was here the whole day. What was that about? Because we're always churning the universe with our sadhana. We're not just helping ourselves, we're helping everyone. The light that we are tuning into floods the world. Make no mistake of that. Floods our family, floods our workplace. And so more and more we find that we really have a responsibility, and it's a joyous one, to go deep so that we can inspire other people through our vibration, whether we say anything or not. The eyes are the window of the soul. They see us, they see this, what I like to call a soft face, and it has the potential to change their lives. As Roman's life was changed by a friend, and my life was changed by a friend. That was it. That's all it took. It's all about smriti, memory. And so a book changes our life. A meditation, a revelation, whatever it might be, changes our life. Once that happens, that is a miracle. Then push a good thing along. Because once we've been given that gift of this heightened superconscious awareness, and whatever form it comes, then we want, again, to do what we can to stay in tune. Tune is everything. The right attitude is everything. Taking responsibility for our life, taking responsibility to drink and drink and drink of the soul. So don't forget Jyotish's experiment. One of these days I'll have to say, Jyotish, that experiment really was so helpful at that particular time, and continues to be. That we continue with good thoughts, and with compassion, and with knowing who we are, and with sharing our prayers. All of these things we're all doing now, or we wouldn't be here. But as Jainamata was asked, Yogananda's most advanced woman disciple, if you could do it all over again, what would you do? And the expectation, I think, of the student was, well, change or whatever. He said, more and better. And went up. And that's what we want. Every single day, every minute, every hour, more and better. But not in a way that's ego-driven. That's just going to create tension and separation. That's where we want depth of meditation, and that God is doing everything through us. And even Yogananda said, even the bad things that we do, because we're still a work in progress. He said, give that to God. Make him responsible. Yogananda said he likes that. Why? Because bit by bit we're becoming the jnani. We're enough divorced from all of these things that we're going through, processing our karma, doing our best in the environments we exist in, and so forth, to know that we're just humans. And so, bit by bit, that Coca-Cola, that brown liquid, was transformed right before our eyes. It didn't take all day long. This wasn't a 24-hour experiment. Probably took 2 minutes. And right before our eyes, that shadow was turned into light. And so, when we go through our issues, don't think that too. Because it's not who we are. We're children of God. And we are in a state of perfection. The only difference between them, these great ones that have realized who they are, and us, is that they're done with their karma. And they've got so much power that these great avatars could free all of us on this earth, and perhaps on other planets as well. That's how much power they have. But what are they needing? They're needing receptivity. They're needing people that yearn for God. And that's why this reading changed my life. Yearn for God like a drowning man yearns for breath. That's what we want. And that takes time to build that bonfire of yearning within ourselves. Through good thought, through serviceful activity. So many ways to purify ourselves. Thank God for that. So, bless you all. Thank you for coming. And now we'll have our arati and